Okay, so I'm back. Had a good night's sleep, well rested. I listened to the song this morning with fresh ears. I was actually pretty happy with a fair amount of it. There's a handful of things though that I definitely want to change. I might speed it up. First of all, I thought, this might benefit from, we're at 105. I could push this all the way to 110, maybe 107, 108. I might want a little bit more tempo. I'm a fan of space and just keeping it cool and seeing less is more and trying to see how little you can get away with. It's not about, look how much I can do. Like, look how many parts I can come up with. I've worked with a handful of producers that are much more genius than I am at just coming up with unlimited optionality. And I actually think that that hurts you. I think that your limitations are what make you unique and give you a perspective and a point of view. And if you just throw every idea at every track, it's just a mess. Even if it all works, it's a mess. All that being said, I've kept the verse 1 very stripped for a reason. So that way, when that guitar comes in the second verse, it's like candy. Like, that was my favorite. Probably the very last thing I did yesterday has now turned out to be one of the most important parts of this song. When that guitar kicks in, all of a sudden it takes the song to a different place. I'm going to explore that further. I'm going to dive into the guitar because I tracked it very quickly, and there's a couple brilliant moments and then a couple moments where I'm like, I need to replay that. And then in verse 1, I hear this kind of rotating, undulating, descending piano thing. I also hear a possible guitar thing. Very simple, but just kind of haunting in the background, and I think just might add some needed atmosphere. I'm gonna listen down right now and see what I'm feeling.
I was somebody different before I met you. I was someone that needed something that's brand new. I was a black-hearted mess, but you didn't care. I was somebody different, but now she's not there. I'm like a ship drifting out to sea, but you wanna be honest. I'm keeping you honest. I feel your waves crashing into me, and you know that I want it. You know that I wanna feel your waves, 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 waves. I was somebody different before I met you. I was someone that needed something that's brand new. I was a black-hearted mess, but you didn't care. I'm like a ship drifting out to sea, but you wanna be honest. I'm keeping you honest. I feel your waves crashing into me, and you know that I want it. You know that I want it. I wanna feel your waves, 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 waves.
There's just something that's not landing with me quite right yet. It's a little almost too artistic or esoteric for its own good. So I'm gonna address that in a minute. The first thing I'm gonna do is just fix some guitar stuff, and I'm gonna add this pattern that I'm hearing in verse 1 that I really want. I'm gonna just fix some of the guitar stuff, and then I'll get into the drums. You know, I'm gonna go like chapter by chapter, but I wanna make sure this guitar is feeling right real quick. So first of all, I like that. I wanna And I can hear the bass underneath that guitar, right? So if you're copying and pasting guitar, you could, because the speaker was playing and the mic was picking it up, so you can hear the music. So then now, because I'm copying the guitar from one to the other, you're gonna hear that bass underneath it, and it's subtle, but it might really clash. Very good chance it's gonna do that. So what I'm gonna do my best, because I don't wanna have to replay it, to roll off anything below the frequency of the guitar itself that I need. So. So it's a lot less annoying. All right, so I think the guitar is right there. Going into verse 2, let's see what we got.
I'm like a ship drifting out to sea, but you wanna be right.
So I'm gonna retrack that because it sounds like that's just too messy. So I'm gonna retract that. Okay. What else do we have here?
I was somebody different before I met you. I was someone that needed something that's brand new.
Now let me try and fix these hi-hats here. Let's try and get these to dance better with everything else, right? I'm gonna try and lock this up. See if I really want these. I don't love those. Like, I just feel like I'm either gonna replay them or I might spend 5 seconds seeing if I can find a sample. It'd be nice to find something from an old breakbeat. That's interesting. Like, that might be an interesting snare to use. I love this. It's one of my favorite breaks of all time. I could just listen. I could listen to that forever. I just like that kick. I don't know if I can use it, but we'll see. That's tight. All right, before I get too much further, I'm just gonna focus on the hi-hats. See, the problem with opening breaks is I'll just go all day listening to all this stuff. It's so good. So, all right, that's the first like isolated hi-hat that I found that I might be able to use. It might be too compressed and just too in your face, but we're gonna see. We're gonna mess around. All right, so what I have here, I got a kick. I quickly get to the point. So what I'm doing here on Pro Tools, if you want to use it, that button's on right there, and it's blue. It allows you to do what's called tab to transient. So watch. What that means is, what is tab to transient? You take the tab button on my keyboard right here, and I just want that sound, right? But I don't want to have to go through the trouble of zooming in and then going to slip mode and then hitting edit. Like, I don't want to go through all that whole process. So I just go tab, 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 right? And this finds the next transient, the next start of a clip. And then, boom, it's edited. Apple E, done. There we go. So now I have the only good sounds I need from that are, I have those. So if I want to use those in the song, I have a killer kick and a killer hi-hat and a killer snare now to use somewhere. I feel like these are going to be too distorted, I feel like. Still, it's so sick. Let's see. So I have what I need there. This is how I do breaks. I get right to the point of what I need in it. I think I just liked that. I like the snare possibility. I don't need anything else there. All right, so I got what I need there. That's that. and we're gonna see if any of this stuff is usable. That's just some killer kicks, right? Enough said. I mean, that is the most definitively incredible pocket I've ever heard in my life. That's just the best drumming. I kind of like that possibly in the verse. Let's see if I'm going to use any of this.
I feel your weight. Ship drifting up. Ship drifting out to sea.
That's kind of tight.
Drifting out to sea. But you wanna
Let's see if we like this or any of these snares. Oh, that's interesting. That almost works. This might be way too heavy-handed for this song, but you never know. I just throw, with breaks, I throw stuff in and just see, because you just never know. That clearly needs to fit if we're gonna make that work. It might be too swung. Might be a different cadence.
drifting out to sea. Drifting out.
This might actually work. That's crazy. So how am I gonna make this up? I think this is our loop. Hold on. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this is more or less. Oh my God, what? What? Did we just end up with a lucky break? Pun intended.
I'm like a ship drifting out to sea. But you wanna be honest.
So something about that's amazing. I don't know if we can get away with that in the first chorus, but it's really kind of crazy. The only thing that's throwing me a little bit is the hi-hat. It's making the chorus feel a lot faster because that hi-hat is going in that break. So I got to decide if I want that in there. So let me just, I'm gonna keep this because I do like the sound of it. I'm gonna keep this. See if I get rid of the hi-hats. And let's get this, all right, we gotta kind of slave this to the main loop, right? That's the main loop. So let's make sure that everything, if we're gonna mess around with this, it better be aligned. So even that right there, see, that's off. So that was part of the like funkiness, the not attractiveness that I was hearing there. So you want to make this, use your original loop, should always be the master, to that. So like, kind of like this vibe right here. Woo! That's kind of sick. Listen to that kind of warp. See, I've already duplicated this track, right? So I can always go back and find the version that has the hi-hat. But now we... Listen to that. This might be too much, but check it out.
I'm like a ship drifting out. You know that I wanna feel you. Waves.
And I don't know that we need this waves. That wasn't coming across to me last night. It just wasn't, I couldn't hear it. And then I think what we do is potentially move these guys. Trying to see if I like it better without the waves. Like it just might be too much. Maybe I'm overthinking. I might come back to it. And then try this. Watch this.
I was somebody different before I met you. I was someone that needed something that's brand new. I was
There's a lot, there's like a, you hear that? The distortion in the drums? Like, I'm loving these drums, but there's a distortion that is less than ideal. Like, even for my taste, it's too much distortion. And we love our distortion, by the way. The other thing you'll see me go through at the end of this session is I'm gonna go through and add a little layers of light distortion across a lot of these tracks. I'm gonna see if I can melodyne out whatever is that crazy distortion sound here. Percussive pitched. No, let's redo the algorithm. I wonder if there's any way to detect it. I mean, that distortion's added. Oh, there we go. Nope, it's not that. Man, this might be a total bummer is what it might be. I'm gonna try and EQ it out so Melodyne's not letting me get rid of it. I mean, let's see if that helps.
met you. I was someone that needed something that's brand new. I was a black.
It's still driving me crazy. That's unfortunate. It's like that fuzz is like the frequency, the size of it is so broad that I can't carve it out, which is what I'm trying to do here, but it's like not letting me do it, and it's driving me nuts. So I think I might have to walk away from this.
Drifting out to sea, but you wanna be honest. I'm keeping you honest. met you.
Oh, you know what it is? The only way I'm gonna be able to use it is, last attempt, is if I don't leave the hi-hat stuff in. If I just leave the kicks and the snares in, I might be able to get away with it. I'm gonna try. I loved this thing sucking back in, but I just don't think I can afford it with my sound. There we go. Yeah, it's when I leave it running. I can only use the clips on the drums. I can't use the hi-hats. There we go. Let's see if this helps. I do like how stereo these drums are though, and I just like where they sit. Let's see if they help augment my existing drums at all. See if I can get away with this.
I was someone that needed something that's brand new.
Woo! Yeah.
I was a black heart and mess, but you didn't care.
Once that verse 2 comes in, I'm like sold on this song. It's just got a energy to it. So I was chasing a hi-hat for verse 2, and I ended up with like some of the sickest drums ever that complement what I'm already doing with this song, right? Anything I'm not using at this point, I'm gonna get rid of too. I'm not using that. I'll leave the Melodyne open for now, but get rid of this. Okay. Not using this clap.
Like a ship drifting out to sea, but you wanna be honest. I'm keeping you honest. I feel your waves crashing into me, and you know that I wanna. You know that I wanna. I wanna feel your waves, 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 waves.
Waves, waves,
Waves.
waves, 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 waves. Oh, down. Waves. See if that sounds good at all.
Waves, waves, waves. I wanna feel ya. I was somebody different before I met you. I was someone that needed something that's brand new.
So yeah, if we're listening to just the track, make sure it's working together. It just sounds dope. Almost sounds like someone's beatboxing on that track too. All right, we want to pull this stuff up where I can see it. Let's make sure that everything is just dancing with each other. I still feel like I have to address this hi-hat issue right here. I either got to play them. What did I think about it? Like I didn't like the sounds exactly. Now that they're not as much of that I have other presence in there, I think I might be able to make these work if I just get them to line up perfectly with what else is happening here, right? All right, so first of all, let's get these guys in the same family. Like, what is that? I'm gonna go into slip mode, so they don't need to be totally perfect. It's all about how they feel. That's getting better already. I want a little bit more volume out of that guy. A little less. Swung just enough. Let's see how it dances with the other stuff though. All right, so that's gonna be our main All right, our main loop there. Let's see how it goes with the other stuff. Yeah. All right.
It's crashing into me, and you know that I want it. You know that I want it. I feel ya. Waves,
So I kind of like what I did in the tag here. The original, this first.
waves, I wanna feel ya. I was somebody different before I met you.
So I need to fly that to the second chorus because we have a new, it's functionally a new, totally new chorus. Or a totally new tag, rather.
Waves. I wanna feel ya.
And it feels better going in. I want to feel, yeah, going into that bridge. It feels way better. So that final chorus, I'm gonna blow up a little bigger. Okay, I have this other stuff. Do I need it anywhere? I do love that fill. That's probably not gonna work anymore. See. I mean, what I could do, let's just see if I need it. I don't know if I need it.
Different before I met you.
Too much for the verse, but do I like this as much as I like the original snares I had in here? Is this an augment or is this better? Okay, so we don't need those. Are there any other sounds? Oh, the bass drop there. There's that clap loop. Here's this other stuff real quick. I'm gonna just like make all these something different here.
Black curtain.
What is this? That hi-hat's nice though, check it out. It's got a lot of volume in it, but let's see.
I was someone that needed something that's brand new.
This might be a fool's errand, but I'm just gonna briefly see. A lot of low end on that guy. So I think this might be a little too abrasive. Need to fake some automation here. It's a little cheat for if you want to play something live, which I did with these hi-hats, but then you want the live feel but replaced with samples. You just line up your cursor with where each one begins and then copy. You know, take it immediately down, draw it immediately down, and copy it in. This might not work at all though. It might sound like garbage. Right, that's the pattern, and it's the same pocket now. Do we like this hi-hat better or worse?
I was someone that needed something that's brand new.
I kind of like it more. I kind of like it more. Let's see. Versus. I like the hair on it. I like the noise, the hiss. Soloed out, I can tell that it's copied, right? And it's not played. But in the track, you can't tell. That's all that matters. It has the pocket of being played. And one way I can do it is typically the harder you hit something on a hi-hat, the higher the note it hits, the frequency that it hits goes higher. The lighter you hit it, the lower it is. So one thing I can do is go, watch. So listen to these two. These right here, I'm gonna try and cheat it a little bit just by lowering, taking it down a quarter semitone or so, right? Take this one up a little bit because it's a slightly higher volume. And then maybe this one we'll take down. This is going above and beyond because it already kind of sounds right to me in the track. Feels more realistic now. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. That actually improved the believability of that. You want to play something in live, but let's say that the thing you're playing in live isn't the sound you want. You want the feel of it live, whether it's congas or drums or piano or whatever it is. Guitar, you want the feel of the live pocket, but you know that the sound you're using isn't this. You have better samples than your whatever it is you're playing. That's how you do it. You play it in, line up your cursor with the exact movement, just bring the cursor down, copy and paste the sample in, and you'll get the feel. And if you want to articulate it, just slightly increase or decrease the pitch. Don't go more than a half step out, one semitone when you're dealing with hi-hats and stuff like that. And that is how you can match. It's a little tedious, but look, at the end of the day, it all adds up. It's all worth it. And there we have. This is what I was wanting to do the moment I walked in today or since yesterday, was replace these hi-hat sounds. Now we've done it. I'm just gonna copy and paste this to the end of the song, get rid of the times when we're not using it. Okay. Now I can retire this guy. We don't need him anymore. Okay, so hi-hat's done. Drums, I think, are pretty much done, except I got a tom fill going into chorus 2. I want to get a little Phil Collins for a moment. I do have the right, I have like 5 live drum kits that are like the best Frankenstein kits you can imagine for a studio drummer or studio recordings. They sound incredible. We now live in a time where, look, do I still think that it makes sense to record live drums? Yes, depending on the song. But you can get really close. I've been using Addictive Drums and BFD for 10 years, and I've gotten to the point where, you know, a number of songs where people were like, where did you record those drums? I'm like, I didn't. They're plugins, sucker. So, all right, let's get back into this.
I'm drifting out, but you wanna be on. I'm keeping you honest. I feel your words crashing into me, and you know that I wanna.
So I forgot I had this additional snare here. Now I've got a little bit of layering of snares. I don't know if I need this, to be honest. I want to see what it sounds like with and without it real quick. All right, I can't tell the difference, so I'm going to leave this out as much as I like that snare. I just don't. And another rule of thumb, by the way, when you introduce a certain sound, a drum sound or a hi-hat sound, once you introduce a repeating pattern in a song for, let's say, more than 4 bars, 8 bars or so, a general rule of thumb for production is you need to be using that same sound continuously. This is a basic production 101, very, very, very common rule that is kind of from the outset that I haven't talked about that I think is very important. If your goal is to do like really cool indie stuff and you're not really trying to do big pop records, then be as weird as you want, use as many things as you want. You can introduce new sounds, take them away, be crazy, right? Experiment. There are no rules, right? But if you are trying to do repeat listen, like super sticky songs that people just want to hear over and over again, you can't be introducing new parts all the time that kind of come in and never happen again. When you see me use, that's why I'm spending time to really nail down what sounds I'm using, because I don't want to use a snare for 8 bars of a chorus and then you don't hear it again. Like, I want to be the same snare each time because we don't have 19 musicians on stage, right? So I try to keep those sounds consistent. And if something's not really adding to a mix, you can't tell the difference with it or without it, just get rid of it. Because it's going to add more noise. It's going to add more problems with mix. If it's not truly adding dynamic interest, get rid of it. Whatever you introduce in the verse of the pre-chorus, sonically, that's more or less what you need to have in the chorus. What you introduce in the chorus doesn't need to exist in the rest of the song, right? So the two are slightly separate. But if you're using something in the verse, in theory, that sound should be happening in the chorus. Even if it means you pull it down, if you change drum patterns completely, throw that out. You know, most of what I'm referring to here is drum patterns. If you change chord progressions, let's say you have an arpeggio. I'm about to do a piano arpeggio in verse 1. It may not work on the chorus because it's different progression. I think it will, but it may not. So that rule holds true unless you're switching to a new chord progression and the part that's in the verse just clashes hard with the chorus, right? Even if it clashes, you might slightly change it so it still works. The reason is the listener, you've basically told the listener, this is part of this song. This is one internal hook. This is like a major ingredient in this song because here's the part and the listener can hear it. So when you yank it out, going into a chorus, what happens is the listener, they're not a musician or producer. They can't describe why something feels slightly off, but all of a sudden something's missing, right? It's just subtle. They go, you have this da 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 da, and then chorus comes and it's completely gone. And very often, you know, you go, something's weird? Why does the chorus feel weird? And the listener doesn't know how to describe it, but what they're describing is you've given them something that's an ingredient. You've told them this is like a critical part of the song, and then you've yanked it out. So just be mindful of the parts that you take in and out. Whether it's a snare, it's a hi-hat, it's a melody, it's a repeating phrase. You know, your gut will tell you what you can and can't live without in the chorus, but if you've introduced it in the verse, if you've noticed here, look at my, right? The only thing that I haven't brought back in this section, you can see it here. That little, right? The little off-kilter things. So when I'm going through and finalizing a track, I will look and see, wait, what am I using in a verse? And why is it not in the chorus, right? It should be in the chorus. So like these right here, what are they? Can they? Oh, sorry. Okay, so yeah, those claps. So I'll go through here. See, I clearly have them in the final chorus. I somehow just forgot to put them in that chorus. And a lot of what I'm adding in verse 2, when you look at my tracks, it goes like this. This is how it will look in terms of stack. Why? And it should look like this right now. Let's see if I'm remotely accurate. Now I haven't finished all my stacking yet. Yep, my verses have less tracks, as you can see here. Then as the song goes on, you see there's the least information here, verse 1. A little bit more information pre-chorus 1, or second half of verse 1. A little more information, chorus 1. Verse 2, more subdivision in my drums. Like I want it to move. This is not a fast or slow song. 105 beats a minute is in between slow and fast. But verse 2, no matter what the song is, unless it's a ballad, it's about pick up the pace, let's move, right? So that's when I bring in that 16th note guitar, with the triplets. That moves it along. I have more subdivision on my drums here, as you can see. And then look, chorus 2 should look bigger than both chorus 1 and verse 2. And as you can see, it is. And most of what I have in verse 2 is in chorus 2, and 3 should be the biggest, which I haven't added in all the bells and whistles yet, but when it's done, you'll see that it is the biggest. So what happens is it goes, if you look at my track count on my sessions, it goes verse 1, pre-chorus 1, chorus 1, verse 2, pre-chorus 2, chorus 2, bridge, chorus 3. And that's the most information. That's called dynamic, or the term I use is, dynamic growth. And I'm growing these things dynamically one chapter at a time. So the listener feels like this acceleration without knowing what it is. It's just like a movie where it gets crazier and crazier. And any movie that has fight scenes, what's the ultimate fight scene? It's always the final of the last act, the third act of the movie. That's when everything's being thrown at you, bells and whistles, sound, music, fights, love scene, people jumping off of buildings. That's songs are the same way. So you're just building them in chapters. That final chapter should be all the elements, all of a sudden they're all dancing together at the same time. So anyway, that's my overview of track size and dynamic growth. Let's get back into this. I don't think I need any more drums other than my tom fills here. I need to add some of this chorus, verse 2 information into my chorus 2. That was just me going through and doing some. There we go. Add these little guys, which I really love. Right? Totally forgot about those guys. But they're cool. And I think chorus 2 needs them. And I might have to adjust the volume on some of these because I don't want to get too cluttered, but hopefully I don't. Hopefully I can just, right? Yep. Okay, that's that. Let's copy and paste this. Okay, I think that's about all I have that's missing. Yeah, I was gonna see if this worked. I doubt it will. So I'm hearing a longer drum fill, more Phil Collins, but if I wanted to do a shorter one, something like this could be interesting. I'll just leave it here as a placeholder in case I decide to do it. I can tell that it's right heavy on the stereo, right? See the right side, the bottom part of the waveform is the right side, which means that this is going to be right heavy. So I'm going to try and pan this more towards the middle so it feels centered. A little bit of artifacting from me time stretching it. You can hear it. Just a little bit of audio quality loss. And that's not really a tom fill. So imagine.
I'm like a ship drifting out to sea, but you wanna be honest. I'm keeping you honest. I feel your waves crashing into me, and you
if I drop the hi-hat, trap hat triplet thing, watch this. Yeah, I'm glad I kept that fill because I like it. Like I don't need the same, I don't want the same, I'm gonna do a Phil Collins fill going into chorus 2, but I like the shorter fill for the rest of the song, and that can be a repeating pattern because it's super dope. So I'm gonna go. I want to kill everything but the vocal there and that drum fill, and make it a real dynamic, explosive moment. What I can do is, since I'm muting, I'm not gonna use these trap hats there. I'm gonna break from the pattern a little bit. I'm gonna use them here. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Watch. There we go. So I can go. Although in a weird way, I kind of wanted to hear that here. And then maybe I leave the trap hats as they were. Let's hear. Let's see what we like here. This might be weird. I don't know why, but I keep wanting to hear it again right there. Yeah. Yeah. I did not expect that to happen, but I love that. It's just cool. It's just cool. All right, I have these claps. Why did I save them? Do I like them? Do I not? No, that's just too much. I don't need that. I don't need that anywhere. The one thing I wanted to fix with the drums was there was a density that I was lacking in the drums. I wanted to feel them a little bit more, and it wasn't about just turning, no matter how loud you'd crank this thing, there was still something missing in the low mid range, and I feel like for me pursuing the hi-hats, giving me, there's your mid-range all day. That's all day. That just solved the problem. And now our fills.
I met you. I was someone that needed something that's brand new. I was a black-hearted mess, but you didn't care.
Okay, so now on the listens, I'm going back to what mathematically makes more sense. That fill's coming on the end of bar 4, and I thought for a moment that I could put it somewhere else, but it's like now I'm hearing it and I'm going, it's a bar 4 fill. I don't like to do things that organically a drummer wouldn't do, even though a lot of programmed drums break from that rule, but drummers hate it, so just keep that in mind. Now, drummers aren't doing trap hat fills anyway. Like they're not doing that. That's a programmed thing. So I don't know if it matters, but I instinctively think I can't do a hi-hat fill while I'm doing a tom fill. Like those two things and even the shape of these two things at the same time are problematic. Listen. It just sounds like a bit of a car crash. So the way I had these hats patterned out is that happens every 8 bars. I'm gonna see if I can make it happen. Again, this is one of those rules that I'm telling you, you don't think they mean that much, because I've established the pattern to the listener and throughout the song that every 8 bars, starting in verse 2, you're gonna hear this kind of like, filtered down, pitched down hat thing. It's not like it's the biggest part of the song, but I've now done that for a minute straight. You've heard it at the end of 8 bars. And what I'm gonna try to do right now, because I want my tom fill in there, and I don't think the two can coexist at the same time, I'm gonna try and take that hi-hat pattern and move it to every 4 in the final chorus. And I'm gonna see if it distracts me. And all I'm looking for here is distraction. Does it distract me? And if it doesn't distract me, because now I have something new every 4 bars. I've got normal hats, normal stuff. Into 4 bars, you get the, then the end of the other 4 bars, you get the ticka-dung, and then so on and so forth. So it's new information every 4 bars for the final chorus, because I'm keeping it interesting. It's our final chorus. You pull out, it's like the end of a fireworks display. So you pull out all the stops on the final chorus. All right, let me see if this works. By now, the songwriters that wrote this song with you have already written 2 other songs. So again, you want to go into production, just understand it is fun and satisfying, and you have total control over the final product, which is why I got into it, because I got sick of songs that I was writing as just a songwriter being poorly produced. And that's why I got into production, out of necessity, not because I was dying to be a producer. Truthfully, I wasn't. I just did it by necessity. I wasn't working with too many people. I had to make the tracks myself. And after just making a bunch of terrible tracks for like 5 years, all of a sudden I started making good tracks, which is... Yeah, that was the right call. I've got that cowbell in there. Remember, I saved it. We're like, why do you have a cowbell? Well, second half of the final chorus. I know I need a tambourine. Check it, check it, check it. That's my kind of go-to with any organic song. So watch this. I don't know if this is gonna work or not, but it might. Just one little extra layer of something. I know I'm gonna put a hi-hat or a filtered tambourine in there. Check it, check it, check it. Like at some point here, let's see. I feel like this needs to be in the right key. Anytime you're using a cowbell or a tonal percussive thing, conga, you better make sure you're in the right freaking key or it's gonna sound like garbage. It's gotta be, da-ba. That's gotta be the key. Let's see if it works. That might poke through a little bit more. All right. Okay, so the drums are, for the most part, there. I have my one tom fill that I'm gonna do, my Phil Collins moment going into chorus 2. And that literally might be it. These drums might be actually done.